Yvonne with MomsLA.com, and I'm here today with estate planning attorney Sona Tatiyants.
I'm so glad I'm here. Thanks.
Thank you so much. This has been such an interesting conversation. In our first video, we talked about what happens to your assets if something happens to you. And in this video, we're going to talk about what happens to your kids. Now, I know this is really scary for a lot of people. So what happens to my kids if something happens to me?
Well, if you don't make a determination, a judge would have to decide where your children would go if they're minors. So somebody who doesn't know you or your family would have to decide who would be a good fit for your family. A lot of times, the husband's and the wife's side would try to fight, and then if you have multiple kids, the kids could be separated.
Oh, that would be terrible. So how do I make sure that this doesn't happen?
Well, as part of your estate plan, you should have a guardian nomination in which you nominate who will take care of your children if something was to happen to you during death and incapacity.
And then how do we pick that person? That seems really hard.
I know. I think this is one of the hardest things that parents have to go through. First thing to remember is that no one is going to be better than you, and I think it's good to nominate somebody versus having a stranger do it for you.
Right.
So keep in mind that this document can be changed. So you may want to nominate, let's say, your parents today, and then down the road when your kids are teenagers, they may have a hard time taking care of them, and at that time you can change it. So it's not a permanent document. Another thing I suggest is consider various things that your guardian could do. For example, where do they live? Their education and cultural background, what language they speak at home, their religious affiliations, their lifestyle, whether they smoke or drink, what their eating habits are, whatever is important to you. Those are the things that you should consider and make sure that your child goes to a home that's probably the closest to your home.
And how do I ensure that my kids will be raised the way that I want them to be?
Well, that's really great. If you have an estate plan, there are two documents that would do this. One would be the trust, because the trust would dictate exactly how your assets are spent. Okay. So if you wish for your children to go to college, we can specify if the children go to college, amounts will be paid for that. Or various other things, whether you want your children to go to play sports or to be involved in the arts. Those are all things that we can write into the trust, and the trustee has to pay for. Okay. Another thing to do is to have a letter to the guardian in which you designate and say, these are our values, these are our family morals, this is our family history, make sure that my children follow these along, make sure to follow our religious affiliations or our cultural affiliations. And that would be a very helpful letter to have to the guardian to see how you would like your children to be raised.
That's great. What if I had a child with special needs?
I think especially for families who have children with special needs and children who come from blended families, it's very important for them to nominate somebody, because a child with special needs, the guardian would take care of them even beyond the age of 18. So it's very important to do that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. This has been really great, really interesting information that I think a lot of parents could use.
Great. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. You can find more information at Sona's website, and we have the link listed below. And please check out our first video where we talk about what happens to your assets. Thanks so much.
Thank you.